Cancer, welcome to your tarot reading for November. Now, as all of these cards, I mean, I don't just mean you, Cancer, I mean all of the zodiac signs were coming out. So incredible sense of, yeah, I can see patterns here. I like these are global events, and I know yours is about global events. I could see it immediately. Although I think some of the other zodiac signs may be feeling it rather personally. It is global energies that affected everybody, and there are two that really leap out here that are so important. The first is bottom right, and that is the Wheel of Fortune card. A cycle has ended and a new one has begun. This is in the past, and it should bring with it luck. But what's interesting is if you go not quite above it, slightly to the left, is the World card. And that suggests even bigger changes, even more major. So we've already had a cycle end and a new one's begun, and it looks like another's happening. And that explains so much in other people's energies. It really does. I don't think this is just for you. I think this is for everyone. So we've already had a cycle end and a new one begin, but an even bigger one is coming, and that's so important. Middle card there, strength card. Universe wants you to know you're strong, you're up for it, you can do it. You responded well to the initial change and were charitable, and that's exactly what the universe wants us to be. And I think it's because you're aware that this other change, this other major change is here. You're frightened of the unknown. You're concerned about the unknown. And aren't we all? You know, we've just had I wouldn't say minor, but we've just had a change and a new beginning, but an even bigger one is coming. And we can feel it, and you can feel it, and you're worried. You respond to all this because, as we say, you're strong. You respond to all this by finding a sense of direction, getting your ducks in a row and moving with a pace. And what that leads to is you restarting out with a childlike innocence. And that certainly served you well at the end of the last cycle, and probably will with this. But I think there is just the chance that this closing off of this big cycle will pull the rug from under your feet. Now, I don't quite know how that's going to happen, and as I say, the universe is saying, look, you're strong, don't worry. But there are some major things going on here that I hope you will look at with me, and we'll try and understand what they are. Now, there are some major changes, major upheavals, major energies this month. But there's a reassurance from the universe that you're strong, you're more than capable, you've got this wonderful inner strength. You can deal with these things, you can. And it's a massive reassurance given all that's happening. And having this card here, because it runs throughout, it means that you can cope with anything, you really can. So it couldn't be a better card to have here, Cancer. I mean, it's a fabulous card to have placed here. And it does tell me that you're up for the challenges. I say there are major challenges. In the past, and I think most of us are already aware of it, a cycle closed and a new one began, and that should bring with it some luck. So I think you're acutely aware of this, and I think you've adapted to it. And you know, as I say, you're strong, you're quite capable of coping with these changes. You've seen that you need to be more loving, more compassionate, more caring for others, and I think you've learnt that lesson very well. And as I say, I think you've adapted well, because we've got the charity card here, the Six of Pentacles. And the universe has been urging us all to be more charitable. You know, being charitable is somewhat at the heart of the changes of this cycle. The last cycle was very much about greed, about individualism. This is much more a communitarian cycle, a cycle of caring for others, a cycle whereby money doesn't mean anything really. You know, it's, even if we're talking about sharing your wealth, you begin to realise it's not yours, it's a gift from God, and if people are in need, then of course you should give. It's a completely different attitude, and I think you've embraced that very well. Now, although you've adapted well, you can feel more coming. You can feel that this change isn't enough. You can feel it in your bones, but it's the unknown, because you've already been through this one cycle, but you can feel a bigger cycle coming to an end and a new one beginning. But you're frightened. You're frightened of the change. You're frightened of what it's going to bring with it. I don't think you've any reason to be frightened. It's fear itself that's frightening you. But that's so often the case. I'm certain the change is for the better. But, you know, like us all, you're somewhat fearful of change. You're also saying, well, look, I've already made these changes. What more do you want, you know? So fear could derail things for you, but I don't think it does. And I might be wrong, but I think you're responding to this fear by ignoring it. What you're doing is you're saying, well, look, I've been through this one change. I can feel something else, but let's proceed as though there isn't another big change. I know how I should respond, and I need to respond in that way, and I need to do it quickly, and I need to do it strategically, almost, is my response. And that might actually be the right way to play things, because even though you're aware that there's another change, you don't quite know what the direction of this further change will be. So, you know, maybe simply ignoring it isn't such a bad idea. Here is the big change. It's the World card. So this is a major closing off of a cycle, a major opening of a new one. And this is going to change everything for you. I don't think you need to be fearful, and remember, you know, you've been told you're strong, so I don't think you need to be fearful of it. I think you need to embrace it. You perhaps don't know how you should embrace it, though. I suspect you're putting up some barriers to it, and that's the negativity is simply your own negativity towards it. I think that's probably how I should interpret this, because it does change the outcome, but it's given that the outcome I think is appropriate, it's hard to see how. You see, the outcome I think is an entirely appropriate outcome. It's the Fool card. It's starting off on the new cycle, on the new journey, with a wide-eyed innocence. I mean, yeah, it's called the Fool because it is a childlike innocence. He's got all his belongings on his back and he's going off on this journey. And he's being followed by his little dog who's shouting at him because he's about to step off a cliff. But, you know, all new journeys will have their ups and downs. They will have their challenges. But generally speaking, it's accompanied by good luck as well. So it's an entirely appropriate way to behave It's just that what I think happens is another major change comes that disrupts it. It's not that this isn't an inappropriate thing to do, it's highly appropriate. But that another cycle ends and a new one begins, and it just disrupts these well-laid plans and direction that you have. Let's get some clarity before I say too much. I'm going to seek clarity on this world card. Not because I don't understand it, I completely do. But I don't fully understand what the negative effect of it is. And the first card we have is self-imposed restrictions. That suggests to me that you're resisting change. And there's no need for that because, you know you've been through changes in the past. You know you've got through them. So, if you can just be a bit more stoical, instead of worrying, remember the moon card, everything's going to be fine, I'm certain of it. And this change is going to bring about new action for you, new activity. So maybe you will understand things better than needing to start off on a new journey on the full card. Maybe that's it. Okay, I think we need to look at each individually. Now what I think you're doing is you're resisting change, because we have an energy here of self-imposed restrictions. You look at him, he's hiding behind those swords, isn't he? And this is because you're frightened, or you don't understand. Well, no, there is some fear. There's fear of this change, and you're resisting it. And it's that brings out the negative effects of this world card, this change. There isn't anything to be fearful of. But we're all a bit shell-shocked, aren't we? We've just been through a pretty major change, and here's an even bigger one coming. And yeah, I can understand. I mean, I'm resistant to change. What's all this scanning with your phones? Even to get something photocopied, you have to scan a barcode. What's it all? Why? Why do I have to scan when I go into a restaurant? Why can't they give me a piece of paper with the meals written on it and somebody come and take my order? I don't get it at all. I just don't get it. So yeah, I'm resistant to change. So I don't blame you, But no, it's going to cause something negative if you do resist change too much. And yes, this echoes with so many other signals I've been getting from the universe across many sides. It's a test of your faith. It's testing you. The universe is testing you. It's going to throw this other major change at you. And really, you've seen it before. You've been there. You've experienced it. You can cope with it. And remember, the universe is saying you're strong. You can deal with it. It's just a test of your faith. And I know you're feeling like saying, oh, to hell with it. To hell with it. What can I do? You're somewhat resistant to it. But no, you need to embrace it. And it is going to change everything for you. And the test is to call you into action. So the universe clearly wants you to act in a different way to what I consider a highly appropriate way, this full card, this starting off on a new journey with childlike innocence. But it wants you to act slightly differently. I don't quite know how it is. It will emerge for you. It will emerge. But I think this is your resistance, your reluctance, your fear, because you don't know. It's more unknown yet again. But it is going to come to you. What you need to know will come to you, and it'll be apparent how you should act. Yes, of course. So this is really a message saying put your trust in God, in Allah, in the universe. Submit, don't try and control things. And if you can do that, everything will be fine. Cancer, this is a very interesting reading. You're well aware that a change has already occurred, a cycle has come to an end, and a new one has begun. And you've responded very well to it. You know it's about being charitable. You know it's about love and caring and thinking of others. And you've responded extremely well. And you've got the bit between your teeth. You know where you're going. You know what you want to do. You're moving in a direction. And that direction is sort of starting a new life based on love and respect and, caring for others. To a certain degree, there's a wide-eyed innocence about it, which, you are adaptable. I'm not saying that you're not. Now, before I say the next bits, the universe wants you to know that you're strong. You're very capable. But you can feel another change coming. And you're fearful of it. You're fearful of the unknown. And to a certain degree, your problem is you're trying to control things. Instead of putting your faith in God or Allah or the universe, you're still trying to control things. And the universe is teaching you a lesson. It's teaching you to release this control. Because another major change is coming. I think it's coming for all of us. And this explains so much about the energies that other zodiac signs are getting. So there's another major change on the horizon. And you're putting up a little bit of resistance because you're trying to control things. As I say, the universe wants you to know that you're strong. It also wants you to know that this is a test. And you've had tests before and you've got through them. But once you get through it, things will become apparent. You'll understand what you need to do. And I think it's going to be different to this full energy. There'll be a new energy that you should follow. I can't tell you what it is, and you will only find out after you go through it, but you will. It'll be a new energy, you'll feel it, you'll know what you need to do, and you will do it. Everything's going to be fine, don't worry. But you just have to put your faith in, as I say, in God, Allah, the universe. This one more time, because this is one more test.